Now, with that said, what is Eclipse's secret sauce? And the reason that all the investors that have invested in us, like Seth Goldman, the chair of Beyond Meat, and Alexis Ohanian, the founder of Reddit, and the guy who created Gmail, and former Dryers exec, all these folks that are visionaries, what attracted them to Eclipse? And it really comes down to as I said, like the milk and its functionality. So we've created the first ever plant-based milk that has that functionality from what we need it to do of dairy milk. And going a little bit more under the hood, right, is probably folks in this community are familiar with dairy micelles. So the microscopic structures that are associated with the casein protein, right? They have these hydrophobic heads and hydrophilic tails, and so they're ultra stable, and they essentially just capture fat, right? And so that is the magic of milk. Like that's what allows a liquid milk to turn into a semi-solid like a cream or a solid like a cheese. And really the micelles are a big part of that. And so we've created the first ever plant-based milk that actually has micelles that mimic these spherical micelles, and therefore allow us to use the milk to create, again, like cheese is made, ice cream like ice cream is made. And that process in dairy, for those who know dairy well, the process of creating products actually has a massive impact on the taste, the texture, and the functionality. So that's, in terms of the product, is really our secret sauce. But what's beautiful about that is it also cascades into everything else. So because we are using this milk that functions like milk, well, now we can run on dairy lines. So we don't have to, unlike a lot of our competitors, we don't have to create custom equipment and machinery and processes just to get our product scaled. In fact, we can scale on dairy lines, and as we know, with dairy declining, there's more and more line time opening, and it's getting cheaper and cheaper. And so there's just this perfect confluence of both the product and the production, and then, of course, the consumer. And that's why we're really excited.
Well, that's really helpful, Aylon, and I totally get that, where you're headed with that, the technology. It's fascinating to me, and probably half my audience, the engineers and scientists, the food geeks, would like to spend all day. The other half is saying, come on, Carlos, let's move on to the interesting bits like sales and marketing and how we got there. So, but I do appreciate that. And I do know that the casein in milk is a special kind of protein. And I get that you're mimicking some of the functionality. That makes a lot of sense, I imagine, for texture, functionality, and ultimately taste. So fascinating.